Morning, good morning, or good evening. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I know it's a Saturday. Definitely things are a little heated. Hopefully everyone's calmed down a little bit after this past week. Obviously we had a travesty that occurred this week. But hey, we're still moving on. We're still going forward. So thank you guys for joining. As you don't know, I am Robert Santos, if this is your first time joining, and I am running for our 13th district congressional seat here in Ohio. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to chime in. Let me know what you guys have. If there's anything of concern, if you guys dispute anything I say, I'm always open for a conversation. I encourage any type of debate. It's the only way we can grow as a society, as we can grow as a nation, and we can improve to ensure our nation grows for our children. So if you guys, without further ado, Jade says hi. Thanks, Angel. Angel, thanks for joining. David, Dean, Art, I appreciate it. So as I said earlier, I'm Robert Santos, and welcome to the Veterans Bench. All right, well, welcome. We have a few things we're going to talk about today. One, grab your coffee. I definitely need it because I'm tired. So if I conk out on you guys, someone call me, wake me up, because I definitely need this. All right. Yes, I'm letting this stick. I like the way the beard looks. We're going to go with it. We have quite a few things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about from the National Guard incident. Obviously, National Guard still in D.C. Some states are calling them back. We have trade skills and how it actually can improve the economy. We're going to talk about the stimulus checks. Some have not received their $600, and also talk about Biden's plan to, or he keeps flip-flopping, his $2,000 check or his $1,400 check. And not to mention my personal experience and why I'm running. So first, we're going to go into why I'm running, a little bit about me. If you guys have any questions, chime in, ask. I'll pop up this little chat here so I can see anything. I got you guys on my phone. Be more than happy to. Yes, I am not originally from Ohio. I'm actually from York, Maine. If you guys don't know, it's a very southern tip of Maine. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in the year 2002. Obviously, I went to college right after high school, and I got my associate's degree in criminal justice, which I actually have in this pile of my education here. And there's a reason why I got this pile, and we're going to talk about that. If I miss it, I know you guys are making some statements, some questions. If I miss anything, I'm sorry. I'll try to scroll back as I'm talking to make sure we don't keep going off subject. We're at first base and we go to fifth base. I know there's no 5 bases. That's a figure of speech. All right, but I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 2000. The reason why I joined the Marine Corps is I love this country. I know it's a little cliche, but I do. I love our nation, and I want to make sure our nation flourishes for our future generation, for our kids, for our grandchildren, for our children's children's children. We should always be doing what we need to do, not for ourselves, but for the next generation. And my grandfather served in the Marine Corps. My uncle, he served in the Marine Corps. And I saw how the military treated their families, on how it shaped them into who they are, the type of person they are. And that's what I wanted to emulate, and I wanted to make sure I get raised the same. Now, my mom obviously did a great job. I think boot camp was definitely a cakewalk compared to having to deal with my mother. Single mom, obviously she raised 3 kids. Me, definitely a handful. All right. And my younger sister, my older brother, and she showed me what it is to have a work ethic. We struggled. We were homeless for a while. We were always barely making ends meet. There was times where I opened the fridge and there was nothing but bread and water. I know it's a sad time in our life, and it breaks my mom's heart every time she hears me say it. But the reason why I'm telling you is I want you guys to know that I've been there. I know what it's like to have to struggle. I know what it's like to have your kid go down to the baseball store when there was baseball stores and sell your baseball cards so you can have food. I want you guys to know that's how I was raised, because I know the majority of people here in the 13th district live that way, have to struggle, have to make ends meet. And I don't want anyone in this country, not just District 13, but in this country, to live the way I did. Now, I know it's going to be a hard struggle, but it's nothing that we haven't done before. It's nothing that we are not already doing. So if we can do something just to make it a little bit better, that's what we need to do. Help out our neighbor, help out our friends, help out our family. Our government has been they become selfish. They have become more droned on helping themselves and helping the people. Now, when they come election time, they all come out of the woodworks and they all talk about, hey, this is what I want to do for you. This is what I want to do for you. But then as soon as the election's over, whether they won or lost, they stop talking. They don't do anything. They don't care. It sucks. You see, the language does. Look at the last race. How many of these individuals who are running, whether they won or not, are still around? Yeah, you might see a Facebook post here and there, but that's not helping. I am trying to do my best. I'm volunteering. I help out at the community kitchen every time I can. We help raise money for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. We're working on another fundraiser to help out victims of sex trafficking. We're trying to figure out how we can do that by complying with the whole COVID restrictions. We're not too sure if things can be shut down. I hate for people to pay for a fundraiser and then we get shut down and having to refund it. So we're trying to see what this Biden administration does before we actually create another event. That's how I was raised. We always need to keep striving for perfection. We always need to make sure we help individuals, and we do what we can, help thy neighbor. But I joined the Marine Corps, going off a little bit. I joined the Marine Corps in 2002. I enlisted as a military police officer. Obviously, being from Maine, I went to boot camp at Parris Island, South Carolina. It was, I don't want to say the worst experience, but when you're there and you're doing it, it's a pain. It dragged on and on and on. But looking back on it, it was one of the best times of my life. I mean, I enjoyed it. I learned. I don't remember my senior, but I remember my second and my third hat, Staff Sergeant Conrad and Staff Sergeant Severa. Obviously, they've gotten promoted since then, but that's how I know them. That's how it is. After that, obviously, I went to Camp Geiger for my MCT training. It's Marine combat training. If those of you who don't know, with the Marines, everyone's an infantryman first. So they'll always teach everybody how to be an infantryman. Now, obviously, if you joined as an infantryman, it's longer. If you have a secondary job like military police, administration, paralegalists, whatever, you still got to have your 17 days of combat training, learn the basics. After that, I went to Missouri, camp. I totally forget the base, but it was in Missouri, all right, where I went to military police school. Spent about 2 months there. After that, I got assigned to Parris Island. Now, I'm not going to go into full details, but from 2002 to 2013, I was a United States Marine. I've held countless billets from patrolman, gate sentry, security chief, anti-terrorism force protection officer, and a canvassing recruiter right here in the Valley in Trumbull-Mahoning County, where I actually met with each and every single one of you residents, the children here in the high schools from Warren, Bristolville, Bloomfield, Maplewood, Austintown, Lakeview, Jackson Milton, all over, even some in Portage. Yeah, I poached a little bit in Portage. Sorry, guys. It wasn't my area, but the person graduated high school, they're free game. All right. If they're in high school, they got to go to the recruiter that has that high school. But if they graduated, so I might have poached a little bit here and there, you got to meet our quota. But that's it. Fort Leonard Wood. Thank you, Shane. I feel like an idiot. It was Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Sorry. Thank you. That's where I went to B school. I went to AID school. Horrible at that. That's an accident investigator. I did all sorts of things. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I was stationed all around the world. Korea and Japan were awesome. Hawaii was the worst duty station in the world. It was so horrible there. The weather was always nice. The water was warm. It was such a horrible duty station. But I got here in 2010, 2011. It was like literally I got here December 29th of 2010, where I became the recruiter here. Obviously, I got medically retired in 2013. Most of you know that. due to injuries I sustained while in the military. So now here I am. Chose to stay here in Ohio. Did I choose to come here? No. Did I choose to stay? Yes. Why? Because of all the places I've been, all the places I've seen, all the experiences I have. Ohio was the best. I enjoyed it. The people here, yeah, my wife is here, but we could have left. We could have moved if we wanted to move, but we chose to stay here because we love the people, we love the environment, and it's an awesome area. I mean, how can you not like Ohio? It's Ohio. Aviation started here. It's great. You guys got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the NFL. It's beautiful. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, a lot of people would know why, and why I have my stack of my experiences here, is because I sent a message to an individual to let them know that I was running and I was looking for their support. And instead of telling me no, instead of saying, I'm sorry, Robert, I'm actually going to run again, or whatever it is, I would prefer to know. Their response was nothing. Instead, they went around and showed the text message, which was a very polite message, and insulted me on my status. Now, you guys may have seen that message. I posted on my Facebook. But that word status, is it because I'm not a politician? Last time I checked, each and every single one of you, every individual, from the trash man, the trash woman, all the way up to a CEO of a company, each and every single one of you, no matter what your status is, you have a right to run for whatever office you want. If you love this country and you want to see a difference, you go for it and you don't let anyone stop you. Now, I'm not going to sit there and let someone say that I don't have the status, I don't have the education background to run for office when I have more education than that individual, Hagen. I mean, oh, did I say your name? I must have. It is very disrespectful to say that you fought more for this country than I have, and I've served this nation for 11 years. Now, I hope that these things are actually false, but the fact that you are not responding tells me that you are the very thing that is the issue that we're dealing with right now, is party politics. We got Democrats and Republicans bringing in their own puppet to run, handpicked. Now look what's going on right now. Look at all the rhinos, and whatever the Democratic version of rhinos is too, the dinos. You know, dinos and rhinos. They're all over the place. And they're not considered dinos or rhinos. They're individuals that are in office just for themselves, and that's it. Why I want to run for office is to be in it for you, for my kids, for our children, for our children's children, to ensure we have a future that's bright and not ran by socialist dictators that are looking to put money out of the poor individual and back into the rich person. That's wrong on so many levels. A part of my education, it's really long. We'll go over a few of them. Obviously, military police. I went to all sorts of courses while in the Marine Corps. Now, obviously, if you guys know, you can go to courses while in the Marine Corps all day long. But trying to get an actual degree program where you have to do things in a certain time, it's really hard. Depending on the job you have while in the military, it is hard to actually be in a program. Now, obviously, those who don't know, but when you're in the Marine Corps, you work all hours of the day. I was night shift the majority of the time. So I'm always sleeping during the day, and I'm working from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I'm awake. Even on my days off, I'm awake from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. What school is open from then? It's not. Now, the military, they kind of help you out a lot. If you have one teacher, they say, hey, you want to take this English class or this class or this class, find me 4 other individuals, and I'll hold a class at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is great. But try finding those 4 other individuals is extremely hard. So I don't have a degree in the sense, but I have taken every class I could whenever possible. But I have military police, criminal justice, security law, fundamentals of Marine Corps leadership, supervisory management, counseling for Marines. So yeah, I am a counselor. Counseling principles, solid state devices, principal instructions, introduction to education, terrorism awareness, anti-terrorism force protection, basic pay and allowances, basic nutrition, small arms, corrections supervisor, inspection of the M9 pistol, personal finance, office procedures, reverse osmosis water purification. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to bore you guys. Nuclear, biological, and chemical reconnaissance, nuclear, biological, and chemical individual survival measures. Let's see some of these individuals who are running for office try to take that course and score above a 95, which is required in a majority of classes in the military. I have received several letters of appreciation, meritorious mass, certificates of commendations. You name it, I got it. You guys want to see it? I'd be more than happy to upload it. It's really thick. All right, it's right here. Everything, all my certificates, the classes, everything I've done. If anyone ever says anyone in the military is not smart enough, all they are is just some grunt with a rifle going to shoot people, they are wrong. You have to be intelligent to be in the military at all times. They don't just sit there and they don't want rocks. They want people who have an intelligence. They want people who actually can be able to make sound judgments. They want someone who actually can look at a situation and make the correct course of action at a split second. That's what we want in the military. So when you say that I don't have the status, I am appalled that someone like you would say that. CBR training says mask mandates is BS. Yes. Jimmy, thanks for joining. Jeannie, Kevin, Dean, Sandy, thanks for joining. If you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. But that's my whole thing. I have experience in the Marine Corps. Everyone always says, why are you trying to run the coattail of you running and saying that you're constantly in the Marines? Is because the Marines, that's how I was taught. That's how I was trained. That's who I am. They made me who I am. I want you all to know the experiences I have so you can see how they incorporate myself as actually being your congressman when I am elected. You have all these other individuals who are doctors, nurses, lawyers. They all say, hey, this is it. This is who I am. This is what I've done. Even previous individuals who were politicians, whether it was a trustee, a ward, a city council, a state representative, or a commissioner, they're saying what they did in their position and how it makes them effective in their current position they're looking for. Well, this is what my position was, and this is how it's going to help me help you make our nation great. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy Bean, I know. All right, you got a new profile. I forgot about that. It's a lot. It's something we definitely need to do. Now let's get into the nuts and gritties of it. The National Guard, it's over in DC. We're not going to get into why they were sent there. They were sent there, whatever. I get it. I would have expected the same thing. Even if it was Trump that was the one being sworn in, I would have okayed having the National Guard come. Because we all saw what happened in 2016. There were riots in DC as well, riots all over the nation. Not big ones like the ones in Portland, Seattle, but there were minor ones, that happened in 2016. And if you look at the history, they probably were going to happen again. Now, how extreme they went is ridiculous. Apparently, Nancy Pelosi was saying she wanted some machine guns with auto turrets up there as well. She's crazy. We're going to bring into how the National Guard was treated. Some people say it's fine. They're deployed. Technically, they're deployed. They're sleeping on the marble floor. Okay, listen, this is not a training exercise. Yeah, they were technically deployed. I don't consider deployment, but yeah, they were brought away from their homes to go to DC to defend inaugurations and to defend DC in case any type of uprising, whatever happened. Okay, got it. But how we were treating them with where they were sleeping. This isn't a training exercise where you're going out in the field for like 6 months. Now, these National Guard, they weren't expecting to stay at the Ritz Hotel, but they were sleeping on the floor. Some people were saying, hey, these conditions are still good compared to what they're used to while they're training. Well, I get it, but they're in DC. There is a base 3 miles away. They have facilities for them. There is no reason why we weren't at least having cots ready for them. There's no reason why we did not have any type of facilities for these individuals. Not saying give them hot showers and all this stuff, but we could have done a little bit better. I don't even blame Biden for it. As much as I don't like the guy, I don't blame him for it. I blame our congressmen and women. I blame Pelosi. I blame Tim Ryan. They're the ones that should have made sure we gave our National Guard the attention that they deserve and the respect they deserve. Now, again, I'm not saying they needed hard, like little Tempur-Pedic beds, but we could have done something a little bit better for them while they were trying to defend our elected officials, whether it's falsely or they were fried in. They were our elected officials. They were there to task to protect them. We could have treated them a little bit better. Shame on you. You should have done better. Exactly. Yeah, Dean. I mean, I think you're right, Dean. It says not like the hotels and barracks were full. I think it was one of them. They were saying they were closing down the hotels, not allowing anyone to come in because they didn't want to give people reason to come even more. Hey, this place has some rooms available. They could have done something. I know they eventually got cots, but they could have given them cots a lot sooner. Not just cots. I mean, they have these little pads. I forget what they're called. Like sleeping pads, basically like a yoga mat, but a little bit thicker, at least that, but somewhere more sheltered. I still wouldn't have put them inside the Capitol on the marble floor. They should have done something different. They should have done something better. We do have the facilities. We do have big tents we can put. There's a lot of grassy areas in DC. If you guys been to DC before, by the Washington Monument, by all of them, there's grass everywhere. They could have pitched some big tents, could have made a temporary barracks for these individuals to keep them out of the weather, all that. It would have been a lot better than sleeping on the hard floors. If I pronounced your name wrong, I'm sorry, but Claudine, thanks for joining. Jeanette, thank you. Mindy. Are they still rioting, David? It's Trudy, thank you. That's the thing. Like, if they were able to, they should have. Yeah, they could have put up tents. Trudy, it's ridiculous. All right, so I want to keep this picture up every time I talk because this is the next thing I'm going to talk about. I know I brought it up several times. However, it's driving me nuts. Let's see, second monitor. There we go. And put my face up here. This guy right here. Tim Lion Crying Ryan. I know this is old news, but I want to pound it into everyone's head. This poor excuse of an individual last year was asking for more money while businesses were being shut down, while governors were restricting businesses, shutting them down, layoffs were occurring, people were losing their jobs, people were losing hours, barely struggling, wondering where their next paycheck is coming. This guy, this dude right here, this little piece of garbage, I'm going to pick his nose right there, wants to ask for a pay raise. Like $174,000 a year plus stipend is not enough. It's right there. After taxes, he would get $120,000. Hi, Logan. You can come down. We're going to have a visitor here in a second. All right. But he wanted to ask, come here. Oh, I was going towards the TV. Hey, what's up? All right, come here. All right. Want to say hi? Look, you got to look in the camera right there. Hi, guys. How you doing? This is Logan. For those who don't know, the first time joining. He's my 4-year-old. He's our last one. We ain't having any more kids. But he even thinks Tim Ryan's silly. He probably would be able to do a better job. No, he would be able to do a better job than Tim Ryan. Oh, no, it's okay. It's all right. So, you want to say hi? See, Trudy said hi. Be a good boy, okay? All right, okay. All right. All right, so that's Logan. My other son is playing video games right there with the volume off. For those who don't know, I got 3 boys. I got a 16-year-old stepson, great individual. My 4-year-old, and then my 12-year-old right there, I can't turn the camera, and I don't know if he wants to come on or not, but here he comes. Hurry up, we gotta make fun of Tim Ryan. All right. This is Timothy. So, with this, you guys see, as a congressman and woman, whoever gets $174,000 a year. Now, obviously, if they're on a certain board or whatever, they get a little bit extra more. But he was basically saying it's too expensive to live or have to be able to get paid this and pay for rent, not only at your house where you live at, for him, Talland, or excuse me, Hubbard, and DC. No, yeah, DC is expensive. I Googled it. The rent in DC is really high, but you shouldn't be there that long. But I do understand that when they're in session, they have to be there for, depending on how long they got to be there for, they're there for a while. But only they can't afford $2,300 at the most. I put $3,000. Why? Because I'm actually accounting for $700 and some odd dollars for heat, electricity, water, all that stuff. But you don't need to be living a life of luxury while you're in DC working as a public servant. You don't need that. But even if you did, okay, you still got $11,500 left a year or a month. Can't live off of that, can you? Yeah, that's right. Screw all the people who are barely making ends meet. Forget them. Let's take more of their money so that way we can give you a pay raise. This is ridiculous. It's wrong. This fool never should have been reelected. Why Hagan didn't jump on this, I don't know. If she did, I didn't see it. I wish she did harp on this more. This definitely would have made sure he did not win. And this is the reason why we are in the situation we're in. Now, believe it or not, there's people like him on the Republican Party side. We can't just say the Democrats are wrong. We can't just say the Democrats are bad and the Republicans are good. We do have our corrupt individuals on our side. We do have our extremists on our side. The difference between us and the radical left is that we acknowledge that we do have our bad seeds. We acknowledge them. We tell them that we definitely don't support what their beliefs are. And when they're wrong, we have to be able to tell them they're wrong. That's how we can build our party back up. That's how we can ensure that we stay the party of the people. Because right now we are divided. And we need to come together, work, admit our faults. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to leave this up here because this should piss you guys off. While I only get $2,000 a month, that's if I work my 40 hours. You know, I mean, actually, I barely make 2,000. If I make my 40 hours a week, I probably make like $1,900 a month. And this guy right here, really? That should upset you all. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what to say to you. Oh, I'm messing everything up here. So forget Tim Ryan. We have time. We are going to remove him from office. Now, I do understand this is something that's been brought up, is that there is actually going to be a redistricting over here around June, July timeframe. I understand that, but he still needs to leave. He still needs to get replaced. He still needs to go. So we need to start now to make sure we actually remove him from office and we do what we need to do to remove him. So I'm asking each and every single one of you to share this link with all your friends and your family and donate what you can, whether it's $10, $15, $20, it's all right. With the amount of people that are suffering, that $10 is actually just one trip to McDonald's, one trip to Dunkin' Donuts a month. If you guys can pledge that, we will remove him from office. There are over 156,000 patriotic individuals who voted for Hagan in the 2020 election. I don't think she's running again. Otherwise, I would not be running. I would definitely help her. But since no one else is stepping up to the plate, and this is definitely a vital time, we need to start now. So get that out there. Let people know we need to remove Tim Ryan from office and let him know that we are not going to stand for legislation like this while we are suffering. We're going to give him more money. Be safe, Mindy. Definitely give me a call. You got my number. For those of you who don't, my number, my personal phone number is 330-531-1007. Do not hesitate to call me. Do not hesitate to text me. I'm always out there. Since day one, I've given my personal cell phone number out. If you need immediate attention, definitely call me. I'll do my best to answer the phone. If I'm at work, please excuse me. I can't answer my phone all the time. The best way to get a response from me quickly is just shoot me a text message. So that way I can answer it and then continue on with my job without actually losing my job. All right. But if you call me, we're probably going to get drawn in a conversation, and I want to make sure I give you the attention that you deserve. And I can't do that while I'm at work. So if you shoot me a text or whatever, we can always set a time up where we can talk on the phone or meet in person. So that way you get the attention that you deserve. So that way you get your point across, whatever issue it is that's concerning you, and we can come to a common solution on what we can do to resolve it. The next thing I'm just going to leave this up there. There was something else I want to talk about here. All right. Is this right here. I'll put up Tim Lyon crying back up and again. Our trust for our congressmen and women has greatly decreased. If you look right now, it's at the bottom right here. If you look, as our trust in Congress decreases, notice the top graph. Look how much veteran representation we have in Congress, how it's lowering. You guys see how they kind of correlate with each other? All right. It seems that the less veterans we have in office, the less trust we have. Why is electing a veteran in office important? We have the ability, not all, but the majority of veterans do have the ability to put their beliefs aside and do what's best for the people. Now, I have my stances. Everyone knows I'm all about my stances. I've used this as an example. And bear with me and let me explain this before you guys tune off on it. I am 100% against marijuana. I think it should stay illegal, and I think it should never be right at all. Never. It should always be illegal. That's my personal view. However, I understand where times are going. I understand it's becoming legal in more and more states. I understand the medical need for it. I understand that. And I'm willing to listen to each and every single one of you, which is why I'm willing to put my personal beliefs aside, throw it, and listen to you, look at the evidence, look at everything that's going on, and make a sound judgment, and not let my personal beliefs affect my decision making, which is what's going on in Congress right now. A lot of people are just letting their personal beliefs get in the way of doing what's right. Now, when it comes to that marijuana thing, nothing is wrong with putting it on the ballot. Something like that. It was in 2015, I believe it was 2015. It was on the ballot. There's nothing wrong. Let the people decide. There's nothing wrong with doing that. When it's something like that, let the people decide. Exactly, Dean, which is one of the reasons why when I'm running, and I'm not trying to bash the Republican Party. I am a Republican. I got Republican stances, but you can't just avoid and ignore the Democrats. Now, most of them are extreme and most of them are crazy, especially some of their stances, but not all of them are. I'm sure that you can find common ground with everyone, even a crazy radical liberalist. A lot of people are like, Rob, I can't believe you would say that. Well, if 99% of their stuff is bleeping crazy, but the 1% is they want a better education for their kids and their education plan they have in their head matches yours, why can't you at least accomplish that? Instead of arguing about what you don't agree on, let's fix what we can agree on. And that's just one step closer to making this nation a better place. You don't have to agree with their nonsense that they want, but find something you guys do agree on, fix that, and maybe you can convince them to jump on board with what actually really needs to get done on those other issues. They're too busy bickering back and forth on what they don't agree on. They're ignoring everything else, like right now. We have Biden getting us back in the World Health Organization, the Paris Accord. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, yeah, I know right now he's focused on the federal jobs, but he does plan on focusing on those other jobs as well, the actual local ones. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, not just for the federal, but for the civilian as well. And it's wrong. What do I think about a third party? The concept is good, David. I don't think it's going to work. It's going to destroy, and it's going to make the Democrats be able to win every other race. Now, trying to build a third party takes a lot of time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years. Look at the libertarians. They're trying. They're off the ballot. The next one, they are off the ballot because they did not get enough percentage. Now, the majority of the Patriot Party, excuse me for the burp, I'm sorry. The majority of the Patriot Party, they are Republicans, is what they are. They're just sick of the elitists that are in the Republican Party. Why not keep the Republican Party and kick out all those corrupt elitists? A lot of people ask, well, how can you do that? Vote them out in the primary. Help them. Help that individual who's running for office who's not the party puppet. Vote for the individual who is not handpicked by the party. I already know I'm not going to get the party's backing. I don't feel like I wish I do. I wish I get the Republicans backing. I do want their backing, the parties, but I'm not going to sit there and beg for it. I already sent the Ohio Republican Party a total I sent them a total of 137 emails, 267 phone call messages, and I have yet to have one returned. One. Since 2 months before I announced my candidacy in the last race. That's how many I had. That's how many I sent to each and every to them. And they have yet to return one. Those are the individuals that need to get removed. Because when you have an individual who loves their nation so well, who has the education background, has the experience, who has everything that they need and more, and the love of their country, and they can't even return one phone call or one email, something is wrong. Brian, I feel you. The third party would split the Republicans. It's pretty much what it's doing now. But it is, Kevin, which is why I'm getting out there now. There's no time to waste. We need to get out there. We need to build more contacts. I have a huge Democratic backing. Believe it or not, I do. Do what I agree with all their stances? No. I don't agree with their abortion stance. I don't agree with their Second Amendment stance. I'm all about the Second Amendment, but they want to restrict guns. I'm all about legal immigration. I think our borders should not be closed, but they should be well maintained. They should be well monitored, and we should only allow individuals in our country that have something to give back to us. We don't need no more freeloaders in our nation. We got enough of those already. We don't need criminals in our nation. We got enough of those already. We don't need anyone who wants to get involved in the sex trafficking slaves. We don't need any of that. Corey, thanks for joining. Brian, I agree with you. This bashing of his congressional record without his response is unprofessional on my part. If I am not mistaken, pot was not an illegal drug. All right. Terrence, in regards to bashing Tim Ryan without a response, well, how long do I got to keep waiting for a response from him? Because I've actually reached out to him several times as well. So there's got to be a point where I say, you know what, man, you don't want to respond. You don't want to explain to the American people why you deserve a pay raise and why they don't deserve anything. Why are you focusing on a pay raise when the American people were suffering during a pandemic? I've reached out to him. No response. So his time's up. I don't care. I'd be more than happy to give someone the professional courtesy of responding to my statement before I post it publicly, but he refuses to respond. He is still yet to respond on why he turned his back on me when I was in my dress blues trying to ask him a question. And all he said was, I'm too busy. I don't have time right now. Got in his little SUV type car vehicle and then drove off without anything. That tells me he's actually not there for the military. So, sorry, man. I got to disagree with you on that one. All right. Mike, thanks for joining. Same story with me. ORP is one of the texts. Exactly. Corey, you know, I support you wholeheartedly. I think I talked about that when we were down at the Columbus, when we were talking about DeWine and the restrictions that he was actually implementing, the least they could do is to party. Now, I know Jane Timken is a busy woman, and she does do a lot. But I also know she's not the only one that answers her email. She has a staff for a reason. She can easily coordinate something where she can actually talk to an individual who sacrificed his entire life for this nation. The least she could do is give me the 3 minutes of a conversation. That's it. And not even one reply. Here we are a year and a half later. Now, a lot of people in the party, I told this to, and they're like, oh, Rob, no, she's this. I don't care. To me, that is disrespectful. To me, you've lost all respect. I deserve an apology. Just like if I were to neglect one of you, I would come out and I would sincerely apologize because I gave you my word I would always be there for you. I will always be there for you. I will never shut the corner. I will never shut the corner. I will never shut the door on you. I will always be there to answer your questions. If I can't get to it in time, you would at least say, hey, I'm sorry. I'm really busy right now. Give me a few minutes or an hour, or give me till this evening and I'll get back to you. Something like that is very respectful. If Tim Ryan would have said that to me when I was in my dress blues, hey man, I'm sorry, I'm really busy. Here's my card. I'll get back to you. This never would have been an issue. But instead it was, I'm too busy. I don't have time right now. Got in his car and drove away. There's nothing. And I've actually brought it up to him. He hasn't done anything. Katie Couric wants us deprogrammed. Doesn't AOC want that as well? So, Terrence, sorry, I disagree with you on that. All right, the stimulus check. If you guys haven't received it, if you don't know, when you file your taxes this year, you let whoever's doing your taxes know, and they add that in there, and you'll get it with your taxes. It's real simple. It's a check. Obviously, it's not going to how it's going to be affected. They would actually give it to you. So if you didn't get the $600, you file your taxes, you let your accountant know, whether you go to H&R Block or whatever, and then they would actually just add it on to what you get in, and you'll be taken care of. Bob Gibbs and Jim Jordan's district. Well, Jim Jordan, I like him. He's a good guy. I don't know him personally, but he's trying to fight. But however, ever since the 20th, I really haven't heard much from him. He's probably busy. He's only been 3 days. And the guy's been working nonstop. I think he deserves like a couple days reprieve to relax and get some sleep, because I don't think he was sleeping a lot. Corey, I would never let. I really don't think money is that big of a deal. You need money to run, yes. Look what I did with just $4,500. I came to a close third against an individual who spent over $400,000. Imagine if I had the amount of money he had. Imagine if I had the amount of money that Hagen had. We would have blown Tim Ryan through the water, which we will do this year. I'm reading your comment now. My hearts and prayers and my thoughts do go out to their family, Angel. I didn't know. I just found he was a great guy. I'll message you later. I want to figure out. We'll talk later about that. Overtaxed. People are pissed at Congress. This is why voting veterans is important. Stop voting on a name. Vote on the person. Vote on what they're willing to do for the people. Now, I do have the experience. I do have the capabilities of navigating through the complex system that's in our government. It is possible. It's not hard. It's hard, but it's not hard to get the knowledge in your head and understand it. It's actually quite simple. A lot of people say, oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Something's wrong. You fix it. You word it. You create law. If you don't want anyone driving down this road on Sunday, then you create a law to stop it. No, it's a little extreme, but it's not hard. If a law is no longer working, you need to adjust it. We are a melting pot as a nation. We are a nation of different ethnic backgrounds, religious beliefs, everything. The laws that were created back in 1805 will not work today in 2021. So we need to adjust it continuously. We need to be there. We need to be on, I want to say on edge, but we need to be out there actively looking at these laws, seeing how they're being used today, and changing them accordingly to ensure that everyone is actually taken care of. Not just laws, but regulations, taxes, education, our healthcare, all that stuff needs to get changed as our nation changes. We are basically like, for example, they call it a living document. A living document, if you don't know, is just a document that's constantly changing with the times. Same thing with a business. As your business grows, you have to change your policy. As you grow, you add more rules, you add more regulations, you add more stuff. It's the same thing. As our nation grows, we need to make sure we create better, more sound laws and regulations that's actually going to make sure we become more effective as a nation and we do become the world leader once more. Yeah, our elected officials, not just Congress, all of them are belittling the little guy, which is why we need to stand up. We need to step forward. We need to do what's right. And we'll vote for that little guy who actually will make a difference, who understands what it's like to be here. You can't have a multimillionaire tell you that they understand what it's like to live off of 20 grand a year. That's ridiculous. It's not how it works. I would rather have someone who grew up like that up there fighting for me, because they know what it's like to struggle, and they don't want their kids to struggle like that, and they don't want anyone else's family or friends or their kids to live their life that way. So they will do what is necessary to improve our nation so that way they do not grow up the same way we did. Well, I know it's a legal document, but what I'm saying is like by living document, which means it's constantly changing. Our legal documents do need to change. Like the way I'm saying is living document is it's alive and it's always growing. So our legal document in a sense is growing and it needs to grow. Now our Constitution should never change. That's a solid basis on what our nation is founded upon. That should never change. Our First Amendment, Second Amendment, all of them should always be changed or always never be changed. And we need to grow off of it. We need to make sure our rules, our regulations, our taxes go with the times. That's what I meant by living document. All right, on the next week, I'll talk about what we're going to talk about next week. I know we covered National Guard, the stimulus checks. I do have a dark secret to tell each of you. So if you guys stay to the end, I'll tell you what my dark secret is. But next thing we're going to talk about, which will be on probably next Friday. It's all what day I actually do these veteran benches do change from day to day. It all depends on my wife. As you guys know, she's going to school. I work around her because she's got her dream, and I want to make sure she accomplishes her goal as well. She's only 2 semesters away. She'll graduate in August. Knock on wood. All right. But she's now starting her preceptorships, her internships. So she'll be working a lot of midnights. So that means, less time for me to actually do this, but I'll always be there for you. I'll always be there to answer your questions. May not necessarily be video wise, but I'll always be there for you. We're going to talk about trade skills and how they can effectively improve our economy. Think about regular traditional schools and what happened to the STEM? What happened to those programs? What happened to those? Why are our schools removing welding, wood shop, architecture, culinary arts, media programs left and right? Why are these secondary classes in high school being removed? And people are using the excuse of, well, we have our TCTC programs, our MCCTC programs. we can't just say, hey, all those classes are in these schools when they are limited to how many people they can have in there. Each high school should have their own electives in there. They should be able to have welding. They should be able to have automotive. They should have this. And we're going to explain that in the next segment on how that's actually going to help improve our economy. Yes, your high school classes can help you improve our economy. And we're going to discuss that next. So if anyone has any questions, I want to say thank you each and every single one of you for joining. If you have any questions later on, shoot me a text message, send me a message on Facebook. Give me a call. I'm always here. I'll always be available for you. My phone number again is 330-531-1007. So thank you all. God bless you and God bless America.